Well, we are going to review a new single barrel of an expression that I've had before. We're going to review 1792 Full Proof Sazerac Barrel Select ShopRite Wines and Liquors, barrel number 1218. So in a sense, this is a re-review of 1792 Full Proof, but then again, it's not. Every single barrel is different. I reviewed 1792 Full Proof Wegmans single barrel store pick a bit earlier in my time on TikTok. Absolutely loved it. And now this one is a single barrel store pick that I got in ShopRite Wines and Liquors in Freehold, New Jersey. Different barrel number, different, Sazerac Barrel Select sticker on it right here. Similar to that one at Wegmans, similar Sazerac sticker. So in a sense, different, but the same in the sense that it's the same expression, but every single barrel is different. This one here, barrel number 1218. That one, barrel 9781. That's the beauty about store pick single barrels. They're all unique. So just the recap of the basic facts. This is Full Proof. And this is 125 proof, which is the maximum that you can enter the barrel at, and that's exactly what Full Proof is. Full Proof is bottled at the same proof that it went into the barrel at. So in a sense, they don't have a cast strength. Maybe they water it down, from what I understand, ever so slightly to get it to 125. But the deal is at Full Proof, it has to get bottled at the same proof that it went into the barrel at. And that was 125 proof, which is the maximum for that. So this is the company, as the sticker says, a Sazerac company. Distillery is Barton 1792 Distillery. Age is at least 4 years old. Mash bills undisclosed, is considered a high rye bourbon. And here's where the interesting part comes in connection with Buffalo Trace. Sazerac owns 1792, the Barton 1792 Distillery. Sazerac owns Buffalo Trace. Basically, this is, in a sense, the same or very similar juice that Buffalo Trace is using. In many senses, since this is a high rye mash bill, in a lot of ways, there are comparisons that could be made to mash bill number 2 of Buffalo Trace, the high rye mash bill. I remember when I tried this the first time, the story is that prior to that, my only experience, and still is, with 1792, aside from this, my only experience was the 1792 small batch. I have not come back to that since that point, and I did not like the small batch of 1792. Had this the first time and the time previous, because this is only my second time having this, and absolutely love this. And this, before we open this up, that seems to be a trend with at least myself. I find there's a lot of expressions where I do not like the lower proof, such as the small batch, full proof, the small batch of 1792. Elijah Craig's another example where actually I did like the small batch of that, and now not so much. And there's several others where the lower proof just doesn't do it for me, but the higher proof completely is a different story. This is definitely that bottle. Now I am going to come back to small batch at some point just to revisit it like I do everything, but the last memory of it was not really great, but the last memory of this was really great. So I'm going to review this all over again new, treat it like it's the first time, because in a sense it is, being a single barrel. And then outside of this video, we're going to do a couple of other comparisons, being that this is owned by Sazerac, and there's a lot of comparisons can be made to Buffalo Trace that's also owned by Sazerac. We're going to do a separate blind another time. Yeah, absolutely. This Full Proof versus this Full Proof, benchmark Full Proof versus the 1792 Full Proof, both 125 proof. And of course, I have to do this one since I have this as a Sazerac Barrel Select also from ShopRite Wines and Spirits. This one. ShopRite Wines and Liquors, the Stag, a few points, 4 points higher in proof, and then this one. That's going to be an interesting one. But for now, let's crack this open and get started. Okay, so we got this poured up. That was a good cork pop. Love these corks. Let's give this a nose. It's not, similar to like the Stag, for, high proof. It's not overwhelmingly with the ethanol. It's not overwhelming to my nose. All right, let's give this a taste. Cheers. This is really good. I can detect on this, it just the Sazerac, of course, the benchmark. They're close by here in terms of having it recently and also physically close by, but I do sense a little bit more rye in the palate than those, which would make sense. This being, if I had to compare it, higher rye mash bill with Buffalo Trace probably would be closer to their mash bill number 2, whereas a Stag benchmark would be mash bill number 1, which is a lower rye. So the point is, I sense a little bit more rye. In this case, it's actually very nice. There's a little bit of punch to it. Thick mouthfeel, really good. And amazing, because as much as I like this, again, the last time I had this 1792 small batch, totally different experience. Nice color. This will make a very interesting comparison. And I'm going to do this as a blind. Definitely a blind against the Benchmark Full Proof and against the Stag store pick. That will be very interesting. We'll do 2 separate videos, one for each one. But this is really, really good. I wish I had saved a little bit of the store pick from Wegmans from back when. Sometimes I've done that since then. I keep a few aside for either, a handshake or for just a sample just to keep for myself. But this is really, really good. Look at that, it's done already. So my quick analysis here, absolutely fantastic. Really great finish. Everything great about this. In my head, it reminds me very similar to what I had the last time, but, side by side, there could be small differences. But I really do think, given I can clearly tell there's definitely a little bit more rye here, even though it's undisclosed, it's clearly, I do see this being probably equivalent, if not the same, as the Buffalo Trace mash bill number 2 high rye. I have some notes here from the last time I did this that even though it's not disclosed, we're looking at approximately, I have here notes, approximately 75 corn, 15% rye, 10% malted barley. That would probably make sense because I think the high rye mash bill of Buffalo Trace is somewhere in that 13 to 15% rye, just approximating, but definitely over 10. So if I had to estimate, I'd say it's somewhere in that range there. But definitely get a little bit more of that punch than I do in the others. But another great store pick, 1792 Full Proof. In closing, I would like to go back to the small batch just to see how I think of it again. I have a strange feeling I'm going to think similarly. I also would like to try others. There are sweet wheat I've seen no way here. I've heard mixed things about it from other people. I have seen the 12-year, but it was ridiculously priced. The single barrel, in a sense, this kind of does that. So I kind of find that just to have the single barrel at the lower proof, this accomplishes both. This is a store pick single barrel at a higher proof. So that one doesn't make sense when you can get this. So in closing, really good. We got a couple of great blinds to come, when we're going to put this up against those and possibly others. But this is a really good one. Cheers.